3 people that are looking for Masarta. Yeah, get a 4th one.
There's 2 people to replace Howard.
Thank you. You let somebody in there, I think, no?
Josh.
Oh, okay. Okay. We left off yesterday with the discussion, Yeshon is begin, Einos begin. Person puts a condition. He says, if I don't come back within 30 days, the get's a get. He comes back, he misses the ferry, and he screams from the other side of the river, Jose Dasoy, I'm here, but factually he's not here. So we say that his not coming is not considered his not coming, or we say factually he didn't come, regardless of why he didn't come. Factually, the condition was, if you're not here in 30 days, the get's a get. You attempted to come, it's not your fault why you didn't come, but factually you're not here. Do we say you did not meet the condition, therefore the get's a get? Or do we say, no, the not coming cannot be attributed to you because it was beyond your ability to come. Because if you could have come, you would have come. So the Gemara says, it's a get. That means ain't onus be given. The onus has no relevance. Factually, if it's a question, are you held culpable? That's the principle of onus rachmana patre. Person wasn't able to say Shema because the location wasn't clean. So he wasn't permitted. Onus rachmana patre. Person didn't put on tefillin because he didn't have a pair of tefillin. No liability. There's no claim against him. Onus rachmana patre. But here you said you will do something. You didn't do it. Well, it's not my fault. I couldn't come up with the money. If I would have had it, I would have given it. It's irrelevant. If you didn't give the money, you lose the deal because you're supposed to put the money down at a certain date. And if you didn't put it down, onus has no relevance to this. The same thing. Ain't onus be gitten, the not coming, regardless of why you didn't come, factually you didn't come. So the principle of onus has no relevance to gitten. Okay? That.
Not a get. I know what it is.
It is a get. Even if they don't want it. Correct?
Rabbi, maybe I'm oversimplifying this. We've always said that if somebody is an onus when it comes to performing a mitzvah, and he cannot do the mitzvah, put on tefillin, say the Shema, any of these things, we say he's not held accountable for having missed it because of the onus.
Correct.
But he's not given credit.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it doesn't help you get the credit for it.
Correctly. Correct.
The positive action, the actual doing is not accomplished.
It's the same. That's what we said yesterday.
But so here,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, with respect to giving the get.
He gave the get. He gave the get. He says it should take effect in 30 days if I don't return.
The condition.
We're talking about the condition.
The actual doing of the condition.
Right. Right.
It never occurred.
Exactly.
And honest never treats something like that
Correct.
as if it occurred.
Correct.
It just holds you.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what we're saying.
So it's understandable that the get is.
No, but you could say, because the Gemara is going to say, maybe.
He didn't come.
The condition, when you're dealing with a mitzvah, there's a difference. Factually, he didn't put on tefillin. But here you could say, he only meant, if I don't come, if the not coming is attributed to me. I mean, we're coming to interpret the condition. But if the condition itself was beyond my ability to address that condition, then the condition's not in place.
And that's a simple case. I mean,
no, so the question is, it is the application. I can't be held at fault. It's only if I'm faulted for not coming. But if the coming is not attributed to me, then I never meant that's not considered my not coming. I never meant that. Only something that's attributed to me. Something that's not attributed to me, I can't be faulted, that not. We say, no, we take it regardless what, the person says, makes that kind of condition, it's taken face value. Factually, you didn't come, regardless of why you didn't come.
See, I would even go one step further. I would say there's a degree of negligence on this man's part.
Wait. That's the Gemara. The Gemara wants to say the case of the missing the ferry will not be approved to Ein Onus Begitten. Because since it's not something which is so far-fetched, he should have taken that into consideration and said it's his fault. No. Or he could have stated the condition in a way that if that should arise, well, let's say it's something which is remote. It was remote. Maybe in that situation, we would say Yeshonas begin, because he never really meant it. But again, it's not like, but factually you didn't put on the tefillin. No, because the intent of the condition, we interpret his intent, what he had meant. Then that's what the Gemara wants to say. The Gemara says in Ksubis over here at one point, our case, the Gemara in Ksubis that base on base. Person says, if I don't come within 30 days, the get should be a get. Also, the Paskim Abro. He came after 30 days, and he missed the ferry. So we see clearly, Shmuel says, factually he didn't come. Shmuel says, no, there's no proof from there. That Einon is begin. Dilma owns the Shchiach shiny. The cave the boiler snuye v'lo asnihu iudav saram nafshe. Since it's not that remote that if you miss the ferry, that you may miss the ferry, so he should have included that in the condition. However, if I don't come because it's beyond my ability, the get should not be a get. He should have said that. And since he did not say it, he takes the consequence, the full consequence of not coming. So it's iudav saram, but in the case where it's a true onus, where it's something which he wouldn't even consider initially, maybe over there we will say, Yeshonas be given. Since that wasn't considered initially, he never meant it in that context. Therefore, the get should not be a get. So Gemara says there's no proof from there. Okay? Getting back to our Gemara here.
Now, the work he arrives in 30 days, and she's not there.
He gave it a get already. Yeah.
He arrives.
Doesn't make a difference. He said he had to come to a certain location. He came to the location. Wherever she is, it's irrelevant where she is. If I don't come back to town in 30 days, the get's a get.
I'm back in 30 days, or witnesses I'm back in 30 days, it's not a get.
And he did come back.
He came back within...
He gave her the get. She has the get in her hand.
Right, but
So
he's back within 30 days.
And he's back, so the get's...
She's not there.
So the get's not a get.
Right,
Not a get, right? Because he met his condition. He was back.
But if we reinterpret what he said to understand all the contingencies implied in his statement, then we're not even getting into the honest concept.
Exactly.
It's got nothing to do with it.
Exactly. It's an application of that. Because normally in that context, a person, it's not attributed person, he never meant that. He only meant that if he's responsible. It's his irresponsibility, his decision not to come back. But if it's something beyond, that means it's not his decision not to come back. He never meant that. Okay? So Shmuel says in this case, Lo Shma Asya. Hu Damadhu.
What happens in that situation? If there's an earthquake or everything, you couldn't make it back.
Well, we'll see in a minute. The two versions of this, whether yes or not. I'll show you. There's a case. Hu Damadhu. Man had some difficulty with his wife in the relationship. He says, "Ilo faisono la atlosin yom levi gito." He gave her a get, and he says, "If I'm not able to reconcile our relationship there's no reconciliation with 30 days, the get should be a get, to be mefayiser, meaning she has no interest in the relationship, and he gave her a get to satisfy. He says, if we can't patch it up within 30 days, the get should be a get. Ozu paiso v'lifaiso. He attempted to appease her. Whatever it was, all kinds of overtures, she wasn't interested. And 30 days comes, so seemingly, he didn't meet his condition. It's only not a get if you're agreeable, if I appease you. If you're agreeable, she wasn't agreeable. Omer of Yosef, so stop. Omer of Yosef miyov lo takrav dedini. If he would have given her a pail of golden coins, you don't think she would have been appeased? It's only the man didn't have that kind of money, right? But if he would have that kind of money, he would have bought her that special piece of jewelry, right? She would have seen him in a different light. See, Yov lo takrav dedini lo faiso. So Rashi says, "V'kev shlo osakain, nimtza shlo pisa afa pisha ein lo." But you say, but he doesn't have that kind of money. Lo aminan onis. Den odem yochel liton onus b'tnai shall get. Rabbi Kalatsky man says, something wasn't within my ability to really work it out. If I would have been a person of means, I could have. So it's something beyond my control. Therefore, I never meant it. I never meant it. You can't attribute it. It's my non-appeasement. We don't say that. Rabbi Yosef says, Einon is begitten, the get's a get. Okay, that's Rabbi Yosef. Ikad the Amri, that's the first version. Amri Yosef, Midi Takrav, the Dini boy, Lemesev Lov, a Paisov. If he would have given her a pail of golden coins, she would have been, it would have brought about a reconciliation between the two of them. V'lo Ifaiso. So therefore you're saying, therefore the get is not a get. Because unfortunately he didn't have that kind of money. Evidently Rav Yosef is saying, this version is, he's going Yeshon's begitten. Understand? Meaning, if it would have been his ability to appease her, and he left a stone unturned, then the get is a get. But since over here he left no stone unturned, and the stone that he didn't uncover, he didn't have that available to him, therefore you can't attribute it that he didn't do all he can. He would have done more. So therefore, the Tanai is not a Tanai. It's not considered he didn't meet the condition, because it was beyond his ability to appease her. Hal command the Einon is begin. So he says the argument between these two versions is this question.
The assumption is always that if it would have been enough money, she would have been peace. But she doesn't want to have it. She wants to get. And
No.
To be appeased no matter what.
As they say, each man has his price. Each man has his price. That's it. Okay? Further, next Mishnah. Hamalva Moses a Kohen. Person lends money to a Kohen. V'sa Levi, v'sa Onig. Leos mafresh alein michelkon. Now, a person has tevel. After you tithe the tevel, so you have truma, you have meiser. Truma goes to the Kohen, meiser goes to the Levi. The Kohen is your debtor, so you tell the Kohen that the truma I will tithe. When I take the truma, I'm going to take that as payment of the debt. Of the debt. So it's understood. If he give the truma to the Kohen, and the Kohen would return it to the Yisrael, so that's paying. Truma has market value, whatever its value is. So that's its payment. But here he says, no. When I will tithe it, your share in this, I will take that as payment. The question is, the Kohen never actually ever received it. So we're going to discuss how does he take that as payment, right? It's not, the Gemara says in Chulin it's called Momen HaShevet. Until you actually give it, what's the halacha if I tithe truma and I destroy the truma? Does any Levi have a claim against me that I'm considered a damager? The Gemara says it's considered Momen Shein Lo Tovim. There's no claimant. Nobody can make a claim. You damage my property because I can say who said it's yours.
What's he already established? Giving it.
Wait. We talk. The Gemara's going to speak about this. Okay, but just generally speaking, the Gemara says a person's mazik ma'atnas kuna. Person goes zroilam v'chayim v'akeva. Right, you slaughter a behemoth schulin and a non-consecrated animal. You have to give certain parts of the animal to the Kohen, and you go and you don't. Do you have to compensate Kohanim? The answer is no, because there's no one Kohen who could say you damaged me, that I'm the damagee. There's no one person who could say that. Therefore, you don't pay. You don't pay. There's no debt to pay. So the truma too. But say if that's the case, so that Kohen being my debtor, how could I collect the debt with that truma? That truma is not his truma. The Gemara is going to give three possibilities how it works over here. How that after he tithes it, and the Kohen is agreeable that he should take it as payment for his debt, that he's able to take it as payment for his debt. It's an interesting concept. There's a Miri in Bava Basra that the Gemara says in Bava Metzia, this is an argument. Abaye and Rava, Gish Lo Midas Havi Yish Lo Havi Yish. This is one of the 6 cases we rule like Abaye, that Yish Lo Midas Lo Havi Yish. The person despairs, consciously despairs regarding his object. The moment he despairs, it's considered ownerless, or a third party finds it, he's able to take it. That's Yish, despair. What happens if he loses something? He's not aware he lost it. But if he would have been aware, there's no question he would have despaired. That situation, is it considered ownerless since he did not have the emotional feeling of despair? Or do we say, since if he would have known he would have, that's sufficient? It's machlokes by Rava. Rava says it's considered despair. The object becomes available. Of course, we know with certainty he would have if he would have known. Abaye says no. The only way that object is affected, he has to actually experience the despair. That's Yishlo Midas Lo Aviyush. And we rule like Abaye that it's not considered despair unless he actually experiences the despair. Okay? So Mara cites a case, a brisa, we have lekachikul peah. Right? You have to leave the corner of your field, so on and so forth. If you have the gleanings of the field, person forgets it there, it has to be left for the aniyim, for the poor. So the halacha is, what about if a rich man wants to take that? He's not permitted. It's considered stealing. It belongs to the poor. So you have to, monetarily, if you have more than $200 in assets, you're not eligible to take that. Let's say already was holchem on the mushos. The poorest of the poor, they already combed through the field, and whatever's left, the aniyim have no interest anymore. The poor have no interest anymore. Could now a third party come to the field and take whatever he wants? So Bryce says yes, they can. No, they can. Why? Because then it's not used. They have no interest anymore. They said, we're abandoning it. It's abandonment. So Mar asks, but people, aniyim will live in other communities. Who live in other communities. They're unaware that this is here. If they would have known, they would have also. But they're not aware. So since they're aniyim in other locations, they're unaware of the situation, so how can and since we say lecture pay is moment aniyim, it belongs to anybody who's poor. They have the monetary right to it, a claim to it. So how, just because in this community the people abandon it, why could now a wealthy man, a man who has a greater financial worth, how is he permitted to take the gleanings out of the field? So it's a proof. The more it's been proved to Rav, she answered Yishlo Midas. Because if they would have known, they would have been in agreement. They would have been in agreement, right, to the abandonment. They would have said, let it go. So more answers that every oni in his own mind says, look, my community is my community, your community is your community. Whatever that community decides, it's their decision. What we decide now is our decision. So in advance, that's the mindset. That's the reason why once the community has combed through it with a fine-tooth comb, the poor, whatever's left in the field, anyone has the right to take out of that field. It's considered abandonment. They abandoned whatever's left in the field. It's more in the Elumatzias. Okay, so therefore, it's not a refutation on Abaye. Okay? There's such a concept known as Makiri Kuna. There was the Kohen, that this was the Kohen of the family. My grandfather gave Truma to this family. My father gave Truma to this family. Therefore, I continue the tradition that any tithings we give to this particular family of Kohanim. So now, other Kohanim, what is their mindset? They know they're not getting it. It's the equivalent of they're despairing. In that situation, so now, let's say there'd be one solitary Kohen in the world. One solitary Kohen. And you would damage the Truma. Would you be considered a damager? And would that one Kohen be the damagee? The answer is yes. The only reason why he's not the damagee is because it's Mom Shen Lotovim. Because the man could say, who said you'd be the Kohen? There were 1,000 other Kohanim out there. So therefore, you can't make a claim against me. But if there's only one Kohen in the world, you're a mazik. You damaged his asset. That asset's his, because he's the one Kohen. So when you have a case of Makiri Kuna, every other Kohen has despaired, has given up hope because this family only gives to this particular Kohen, their Truma. So it's considered his Truma. So one of the interpretations should be, why, when that Kohen borrows from him, why could he say to him, the money, the Truma that I will tithe should be payment for the money that you owe me for the loan? Because it was speaking about that Kohen happens to be the Kohen of the family who always receives the Truma. So it's as if he's the only, so the moment he tithes that asset belongs to the Kohen. Because he's the equivalent of the only Kohen. Therefore, now when the Kohen is agreeable that he could take it as payment. So when he takes it, although he never made a kinyon, that Kohen never did an active acquisition to be his, it's considered valid payment for the debt. The same thing with the Meiser. He always gives the mice to that particular family of Levim. So now that he has an agreement that if he can't pay the debt, he could take it out of the maser. The maser that he tithes, that maser is the maser of that particular Levi.
But what does it mean? I mean, this is a Yisrael dealing with a Kohen.
Correct.
Okay. So the Kohen owes him money. This is the case. And this Israel is going to tithe. And they're going to make an exchange. And instead of me giving you what I tithe, this I'll consider this as payment of
And the Kohen is agreeable to it.
And the Kohen is but the Israel, what can he do with it? It's still
No,
it's
it has
still
market
truma.
value. He sells it on the market.
Oh, you can sell truma.
Sure, of course. I mean, let's say a Kohen, let's say one Kohen wants to sell this truma to another Kohen. The Gemara speaks in Bechoros. If, let's say, you have a person has a mother, and she's a bas Kohen, and she's an heir, and her father dies, so the grandson is a Yisrael. So he inherits his mother, so he has truma. What does he do with the truma? So he sells it on the, of course it has less value, but he sells on the open market.
So it has a value.
It has a value.
So the understanding is this man will sell the truma.
Right.
The lender will sell the truma.
Correct.
And he will take the proceeds.
Correct.
in lieu of
So
the
therefore,
interest.
it's considered a payment because it has monetary value.
How does somebody get out of this relationship? He's got a lucky coin. Now he says, I don't want to do this anymore.
It's your
He has to
decision.
make a verbal announcement to the public that I am no longer.
Yes. Because if he doesn't, so all the other quantum, he's the only Kohen in existence. It's the equivalent of that.
So it works, this deal.
It works. It's Mishnah. That's the Mishnah, according to this.
So why would we think it might not work?
No. Not. See, the Gemara is going to say there's an argument. What exactly is the case where the Yisrael could have this agreement with the Kohen? Is it only the other interpretation? But seemingly the Mishnah is what you limiting it to that one case. Can I ask a question? Wait a second. I mean, he should pick it up for the Kohen,
Yeah.
and he should be the recipient.
Pick it up with the
You have to be a third party.
So I don't understand why would you consider this might not work? It seems like it's a...
It does work. It does work.
Why would we need a mission to tell us that?
We'll see in a
Why couldn't
moment.
we figure
We'll
it
see.
out?
We'll see in a moment. Because that's not the Chiddush in the Mishnah. That's not the Chiddush in the Mishnah. The Chiddush is that, let's say there's a question whether the Kohen is still alive. He's tithing it. The Kohen may not be. He's not tithing in the presence of the Kohen, or he's aware at this moment he's alive. You go after Cheskes Chai. As we said regarding Get, Cheskes Chai, here also is Cheskes Chai. I mean, so they asked, the commentators ask, if we're talking about Eishes Ish, we said for a get, we rely on Cheskes Chai. So for Truma, we're not going to rely on Cheskes Chai to pay a debt. That we say that the Kohen is still alive and he should be able to collect the debt. That therefore the agreement is still in place. I mean, that the Mephoshim ask. So we'll see. So you'd say, you know why? Because when do we rely on Cheskes Chai? This is what the Chassam Sofer answers. That's when you'd say maybe it's a question of Mishum Aguna. On a Torah level, definitely you rely on Cheskes Chai. The presumption he was alive, he's still alive. So you'd say maybe we should be machmir. You should know factually he's alive. You know something? We're dealing with a woman being permitted to remarry. We're not going to institute that chumrah. But by collecting a debt, you know something? Maybe the only way you're able to collect the debt, factually you have to know he's alive. If you don't know he's alive, maybe not. Rabbinically, you have to go and verify that he's alive. On that, the Mishnah says no, that even for payment of the debt, we rely on chazakah. That's the chiddush of the Mishnah. Even the other situation is much more severe, Eishes Ish, but we're still dealing with aguna. Otherwise, every situation, the woman would remain bound. She can't remarry.
But if this Kohen was not alive...
It's over. The story's over.
I mean, the debt transfers to his children.
I understand that.
To his estate.
Yeah, but the Makir Kuna we're talking about, the only reason why it's considered his is because it was given to him. He didn't commit himself to his children. We're not speaking where he committed himself to his children.
Does the debt transfer to his children?
To his estate.
No,
Why
if there's
does
no.
it- why
Let's
does
say
it go to
it's a documented loan, right? It's a documented loan, so the land the estate is leaned to that. But let's say it's an undocumented loan. It
Yes.
doesn't. No, it's undocumented. It's not a mil bishtar. It's undocumented. Then it does not transfer to the children. Children have no obligation to pay the debt of the father.
So how does the lender get his money?
Doesn't get his money. Doesn't get his money.
An undocumented loan basically is a
Can't-
forgiveness of the loan?
Not a forgiveness. He has nowhere to collect it from. He has nowhere to collect it from. Because property that's unleaned, it's not leaned, you have to have an asset. What happens if a man dies penniless? Probably penniless. Why are the children obligated to pay the father's loan? Right? It's a nice thing, but there's no financial obligation. Gemara says, kibbutov, honoring a father. But you can't impose that on the children.
We're dealing with a case here where there is an estate. The man does leave something behind.
No,
So the loan doesn't
not
attach
necessarily.
itself.
Not necessarily. First of all, what did he leave behind here? What did he leave behind? We're talking about he tied it after the man dies, let's say, and his relation was only with that particular person, not with the children. Just because he had makiri kuna, he always gave the chuma to that person because he valued that person, doesn't mean to say it's going to carry on to the children. Doesn't mean that. So now he can't take it he can't collect it any longer. Right? So that's the question. Maybe he's no longer alive. So the agreement is not in place any longer. The answer is you have chazaka. The presumption he is alive. So the question is, if we say for Eishes Ish, that we rely on presumption to allow it to remarry, that we say that the get is a viable get, so why don't we say it over here in regard to Truma, which is less serious, less severe? So as some explain, because over there there's Aguna, therefore we're not going to be Machmir. But over here, where we're dealing with something just to payment of a debt, maybe we should be Machmir. So here it's a bigger Chiddush, for that reason.
So this man, the Kohen, doesn't have any sons, he has daughters. They're all married. They're his heirs.
Okay.
So now there's no possibility of tithing for these daughters because they cannot receive.
Right. No, because again, first of all, the Bas Kohen doesn't receive it anyway. I mean, now that they're married, they don't receive truma. They can't eat truma. Right.
So, and we're saying that they're free of this debt, an undocumented loan. Even
Correct.
in that case, even though they may be substantial.
Doesn't make a
Father
difference.
might have
The
left
sons
them-
can be substantial. If the sons have their own assets, they're not if it's undocumented, they're not obligated to pay the loan unless it's the asset. Even if it's the asset of they inherit property from the father.
So where is the fairness in that a man could lend and it's undocumented and
Because the obligation is on the person. It's on the the obligation is on the person. The moment he dies, everything transfers out of his estate. It's no longer his; it becomes the children's. The children. If there's a lien, they're liened. So it's considered as if the lender has an attachment to that asset. But there's no attachment, just because it was transferred from the father. That's not enough a reason for them to pay.
wouldn't lenders be very concerned about it?
That's why you have a documented loan for that reason.
I mean, anybody could die.
Sure.
Correct.
So a person who's responsible, usually, if he has a document written for that reason, that the loan is protected.
So here in this case, if the Cohen died and the guy wants to get his money, he can go to the sons and make a deal. That I'll give you this money.
They don't have to make the deal. They don't have to make the deal with him.
He doesn't have to smack it with the children.
What does he gain? What does he have to make the deal? So we're not making any deal. We're not obligating our father's debt. Why should he make a deal with him?
Because otherwise they're not going to get anything.
Okay, so he can work out.
Give it 20% of my
I just want to read the Mishnah. Hamalvim Moses as a Kohen is a lev is a oni, ma'isa oni, lios mafresh le mechelkon. That he'll tie from their portion, mafresh aleim b'cheska shen kayomim. When he ties it, the presumption is there's a chazaka that they're still alive. Ve'en achosh Hashem emes hakohen or levu or oni, or hesher or oni. The oni doesn't even have to become die. What happens if he becomes wealthy? So the agreement that he had with the oni, right, is still in place because he became wealthy. Now he's no longer eligible for Ma'aseh Sheni, right? You know, it's interesting. There's I still have a minute. There's the Gemara in Zvachim speaks about a case that what happens if you magdish an animal. Also, we had in Kedushin. consecrate an animal, and then afterwards, the Mizbeach becomes damaged. So if the Mizbeach is damaged, the animal cannot be brought as a korban, then it's repaired. Let's say you slaughter an animal, and before you sprinkle the blood, the Mizbeach becomes damaged and then repaired. It's puzzle, because that's called dichoy, because there was a moment in the midst of the service that you couldn't complete the service. So the Gemara has a question, what about if it wasn't yet slaughtered? It's still live, the animal. Do we say Bali Chaim Nidochim? Is it Balkaid? Is he considered that's enough of a reason, even in that state before the service began, since you cannot at this moment go forth with the avodah, that disqualifies the animal. Okay, that's the discussion. So there's a case, a person goes and he inadvertently violates Shabbos, and so he goes and he consecrates a chatos. Then he becomes a mumer. He becomes an apostate. So an apostate cannot bring a chatos. And then he does tshuva. He does tshuva and he's reinstated. So Gemara has a question. Same question. So the Gemara asks, so Tosas asks a question. The Gemara says that what happens if a person is carrying the blood and he drops the blood and the blood goes into a depression in the Azorah, and he's able to immediately regather the blood and sprinkle the blood. Since it's biyodo, it's within his ability to gather the blood and sprinkle it, that's not considered an interruption. So Tosas asks, so why over there is it dichoy when he becomes an apostate? Is biyodo lasos tshuva? He could always do tshuva. That's Tosas' question as well. So Tosas answers, when it comes to tshuva, it's not so simple. It's a lot easier to scoop up the blood, gather the blood, and continue the service. Doing tshuva. Here we're talking about oni beheshir. A man's sport, does he become wealthy? Does it happen that easily? But you understand, we're not talking wealthy. If he's above $200, he's already classified as a wealthy person. To be continued.